Well, it might make for a much shorter meeting.
Somewhat shorter, anyway.
All right, if you want to turn the mics on. Let's turn your mic. Oh, you're already going. All right, we're live.
Okay,
So call the meeting to order.
7:01.
7:01. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you all for coming out on this smoky evening. Okay, Clerk Pern, could we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Treasurer Howard.
Here.
Supervisor Bertrand.
I am here.
Trustee Detmer.
Here.
Clerk Kern here. And Trustee Monet excused.
Give me a couple batteries, Paul, just in case.
Okay.
I should add something for the public about Trustee Monet. He's picked up something, some kind of a little bug outside, and he's run out of EpiPens, and he's sucking down Benadryl right now to get a little bit healthier. And I said, well, your health is more important than being here, but if you can be here, be here. So that's a little explanation he gave.
Okay. So that would move us right into board reports and public comment for the department heads. First is the supervisor. Before I start, the consent agenda included payroll, and I didn't get a chance to staple them together. There's a stapler up there. If you end up grabbing those copies, there's payables and money coming in, money coming out, 2 pages over there for each. So if you staple them together, maybe that'll help you out. But I got it on the table in time. That was the main thing. All right, 7/15/26, Lyon Township Supervisors Report. My township supervisor statutory duties include managing public improvements, overseeing township employees, to act as a legal agent for the township, and be responsible for the efficient administration of the township government. I took an oath to do so, and I am ultimately responsible to the township residents for those duties. This is an elected public, not personal, service job. I know what that means, and it's reference to the majority. I worked in public service for over 30 years with the state of Michigan. I'll continue to represent the voter majority who put me here. That's why I was elected. That's what I'm for. As supervisor, I have recently made motions at board meetings, some more than once, to implement business practices and support grant application awards usage that I believe are in the best practice and the best interest of the majority of the Lyon Township residents. My esteemed colleagues on the board may disagree, and that's fine, but again, in the interest of the residents, I have asked for roll call votes on these motions for the meeting records. On some occasions, there were no board members willing to second the motions, so no discussion or vote could be recorded for public record. On yet other occasions, not all the board members were present to vote on those motions once seconded, which again does not put all the board members on record for their position on that motion. Mr. Monet is not here. I intended tonight, with everybody present, to redo some of the motions. That's not going to happen until everybody's here. On the plus side, I have gotten many compliments on the parks, the grants award use, grant awards related presentations, quality of the concerts, our township Facebook page, fire department recruiting, and housekeeping progress, recycling availability, the cemetery appearance, phone calls being answered, emails being answered, and polite staff at the office, and more. I'll take credit for the weather, but I want to thank our maintenance crew and staff for everything else and their hard work during this busiest seasonal time of the year for our resort-based community. And I do mean that. Everybody's been working real hard, 2 weeks either side of 4th of July. So thank you, everybody. If anybody got any questions for me? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the treasurer's report.
So I attempted to attend my first HULA meeting, which did not go as planned, but I'll work through that issue. Obviously, we started the summer tax collections. We're about 300 people have already paid as of today, which is kind of surprising, but that's great. And next we're going to meet with Huntington Bank on options for the rates we're currently getting for 2 of our accounts are not good, so they have some new options for us to draw some more interest, better interest than what we're currently getting. So look forward to that next week. Maintenance, we're actually more than halfway through that pile, thank God. It's been a chore, but we'll get there.
Leaf pile?
Yes, the compost pile. We're actually more than halfway done now painting all the playground and pavilions, which was a goal of ours. Hopefully have that finished by the end of next week. Inspections are going good. They're doing the inspections at each playground. We went bi-weekly instead of weekly. It just made sense to go bi-weekly, how busy these guys are. And then we installed the swing, which unfortunately somebody stole the main piece off of it within a day. So we're gonna have to figure out something for that. And then the ADA chips will be installed at Perk 27 next week for all the swing sets there. So it's unfortunate somebody stole the piece. We just put it up one day, and it's a shame, but we'll get a new one ordered and try and figure out a way where it can't be stolen.
I went down there and there's a couple of neighborhood ladies who walk through and pick up stuff. It wasn't in the garbage cans. It was in the sand pile. This swing has straps and there's clips, and kids and clips, probably the first thing they did was start screwing with it. Anyway, there's still a lady who may have picked it up. I haven't run into her yet. But Pam will be back tomorrow, and we'll check into ordering another one. And if we have to zip tie those clips so that they can't be manipulated with other than the adjustment part, maybe that's what we'll have to do. But I'm not giving up completely. That thing may be around. She may have picked it up as this doesn't belong. Okay, anybody got any questions for Treasurer Hops? Yep.
Painting was awesome, wonderful. I researched what that harnesses goes for $118. You want to order a replacement?
If you can leave it here, I'll give it to Pam, because she was the one that ordered the first one.
I'll send it.
Appreciate that. Anything else for Treasurer Hops?
Did you want to go into your exploits at the meeting right now or not?
No.
No? Okay, we'll do it at a little later time then, if it comes up.
Yeah,
All right.
if it comes up, we'll
All right.
discuss it.
Okay, that moves us on to Clerk Pern's report.
Well, I have some bad news to report. As far as I'm concerned, it's bad. We sent out 349 absentee ballots and only 99 have been returned. There's 4 more today, so it's 103 now, but that's still not very good. They've been out there a few weeks. We have 3 new Parks and Rec board members sworn in, Martha Allen, Amy Mason, and Sherry Adzigian, all effective the 1st of July. We have 2 HLUA members sworn in, Kevin Hops for Marcia Wilson, Jackie Danielson for Tamara Gage, effective also 7/1/26. We had resignations received from Cindy Pop, Parks and Rec, Sarah Bonsack, Fire EMS, and Tamara Gage from HLU. They're all on file. We had 2 new fire department hires, Brian Mason and Harry Johnson. Our election tests were run successfully last week. Our election inspector approval meeting took place this week, and that went fine. The early voting for Lyon Township is at Markey Township on the following dates. It goes from Saturday, July 25th through Sunday, August 2nd. And that's not a mistake, Sunday, 8 to 4. At Lyon Township, Saturday, August 1st, 8 to 4. There are no election stations open on Monday, August 3rd, and that's for setup at both places. Tuesday is the regular election. The qualified voter list is updated weekly. The millage request was sent into the county clerk's office, and that's all I have for the time being. So I'm open for questions if you have some.
Can you hear out there okay? Okay. Any questions for Clerk Byrne? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move on to Trustee Detmer if he has a report for us today.
I just spent the last week walking the neighborhoods, talking to different people and discussing various things, and that's about it.
What are you hearing about that hole? Because the county said, you know, the hole in the road there, the county said it'd be a couple months. Or
Everybody's really upset about the hole in the thing, and I don't blame them. It's terrible. It's, you know, probably 6-8 feet in diameter and 4 or 5 feet deep, and it's right in the middle of the road. So they've got the road blocked off, and then people are driving on people's lawns with golf carts and stuff like that, and it's just a mess. It needs to be taken care of.
all right, I will call the county again. Any questions for Trustee Detmer?
Central Park Boulevard?
Michigan Central Park Boulevard.
Yes.
Okay, hearing none. After that, we will move on to, it would be Trustee Monet, he is not here, to a maintenance report.
Which we got.
Which one of you would like to read that?
Already did.
Yeah, you already made it. Treasurer Hops did.
You worked it right in there, did you?
Yes, sir.
Believe it or not, I didn't notice that. So it's treasurer maintenance report. Okay, cool. That moves us on to the fire department. Chief, yeah, there you go. Turn that on. As long as it's green, you should be looking good. You don't have to get too close. It'll work pretty good.
All right, thanks. All right, so total EMS calls this month of June, we had 12, 2 fire and rescue calls total, 1 EMS non-transport. We had received mutual aid on 12 of the calls. Some of the training highlights, we did our monthly staff meeting, a couple of probationary folks driving the apparatus to get their drive time in. We went through pump and water with the engine, 623, And we went through the power cot use for the ambulance on 6/32. I had a chance to meet with Chief Gilman from Garish, or Gillum from Garish, just get to know each other and talk some shop. Community involvement, we took 623, pumper 640, and the rescue boat 629 down to Park 27 for the concert. And we had several people stop by the station over the last couple of weeks just to say hi and take a look at things. A few significant events. Jeff Kuchar, he has successfully completed his firefighter 1 and 2 in hazmat operations and received his diploma on June 22nd. So he's good there. Greg Llewellyn is the assistant chief. The board approved that on 7/8. Lion Rescue Boat 629 is in service and housed at B&B Marine, so that's ready to go. Mr. Pern already said, but Brian Mason joined the fire department. The board approved that in July of 26 there. Harry Johnson, he's got a firefighter 1 and 2 in his EMR. He rejoined the fire department. That was approved also in July. Upcoming events, Garish Township, their fire and EMS is doing Walk for the Red. It's a 2-day, 50-mile walk around Houghton Lake and Higgins Lake to raise funds to support firefighting cancer. So that's July 18th and 19th. There's a flyer over there. Chief Gilman's here also if you have any questions about that. And then we're working on setting up a meet and greet there at the fire station here end of the month into August. We'll get that set up and probably advertise that through Facebook. And then a couple of things that was not in the report that I'd sent you as a pre-read. The mutual agreement, automatic aid agreement that was executed on May 21st of 26 between Lyon Township Fire and EMS, Garish Township, Lake Township, and Beaver Creek, because we didn't have a fire chief or an assistant chief at the time. Those departments believe that agreement has been successfully fulfilled, its intent and purpose, and is no longer necessary. So we're returning to operation with Lyon Township under the established Roscommon County Mutual Aid Agreement and existing county mutual aid practice. So that's all set there. And I sent you all a note about replacing the PC for the EMS up in the front office. That is not able to run Windows 11, so that needs to be replaced so we can keep our reports and stuff active. And then lastly, I would like to let you know we need to replace our refrigerator in our kitchen. We had that power outage about a week ago, and the next day when I was in there, it was leaking water. So I suspect we'll spend $1,500 or less, but we need to get that replaced. That concludes my report. Have any questions?
Well, thank you, sir. I don't know, are there any questions from the board?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I would say this is the most complete report I've received since I've been on in November 24. I really appreciate it.
I plagiarized it from Chief Gilman.
Yeah.
It was very helpful.
Raise your
in
hand.
supporting me. I appreciate it. So
Yeah, we,
if there's anything you need in it added or don't need, let me know and we'll
Well, you got
adjust.
people to go to. That's an important,
Yes,
it's
sir.
a very important factor. Yeah,
Yep.
you got to do that. Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
anybody in the public got a question for our fire chief? I got one more thing. If you get a chance, throw a courtesy call at Lake Township. I never have quite understood what our relationship is with them, but it should be good. We're right next to each other, Okay, that moves us to the sexton.
Okay. So I sold one lot. I had 2 burials, which were cremations, and 5 headstones I had to mark, and 2 more coming. It's amazing how many headstones. I'm happy to report tomorrow they're going to start working on the water, and that's going to take every bit of 2 days. But finally, after a long time waiting, we're going to finally have water in the cemetery. That's all I have.
So Consumers was gonna come and
Well,
cut,
consumers came, and I was gonna mention, I forgot. Consumers came, they cleared that tree away from the guide wires. I actually was gonna cut up the brush. All that's left is, the bigger pieces after I cut the brush up. I was
So
gonna do
it's-
that tomorrow, actually.
so they got it.
Yeah, yeah, it's away from there. Actually, my neighbor went over on the other side of the cemetery and started cutting some up and wanted to go over to the cemetery, and I told him he couldn't do that for insurance reasons.
Okay, is one of those headstones mine?
No, it's on the other side of the cemetery.
That one for my brother should be coming
Oh,
across.
one of these four, or one of
Yeah.
these five? Yeah, one of it's for your brother.
Yeah, okay.
And they should be out probably next week to lay the foundation.
Well, I say this every meeting, just about, I get compliments about the cemetery all the time. You're doing a great job, in my opinion. Anybody from the board got a question for our sexton
Well done.
Thank you.
or the public? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to ordinance officer, and you won't have to move at all.
Okay, so I had 5 complaints in the last week and a half. I closed 4 of them. One's still open. I sent the lady a letter, and I'm just waiting for her to act on it. I issued 2 permits, and I did the liquor inspection, which was fine. And finally, after a year and a half, I finally found out who lives on Mooncrest, and I served him a letter and actually talked to him personally. And he was a really nice guy, by the way, I might add. But he just wasn't aware of the ordinance that he couldn't have a trailer when there wasn't a building. But he's in the process of getting a permit to build a home. But I told him he still had to remove the trailer until he gets that permit.
Well, good luck with that one.
No argument?
No argument. He was a really, really nice guy. We talked for a long time. I was a super nice guy. And he fully understood. And he said he was going to remove it. I gave him 2 weeks. Because he said, do I have to do it today? I said, no, I'll give you a couple weeks. I mean, you don't have to do it today.
Okay, so I have a letter I want to give you. This is an example of what happens a lot, but doesn't have any merit. You're well aware, unless you fill a complaint out,
Right.
what are we going to do? It goes on, it's about road ends and goes on, and ends up, this came in an envelope with no return address, to me personally. Goes on about road end problems. And then the second part is, our neighbor wrote this letter. We're in complete support. And apparently their name is on the back of this. If you can figure out who this person is and get a hold of them, please let them know that the allegations don't do us any, it doesn't do us any good. If they have there's claims of people building benches, having parties, blocking roads. Not even sure it identifies Lyon Township, but see what you can do with that.
Okay, do you want me to take that letter?
Yeah, because for everybody here, it's an example of when we do not get written complaints with names on them. A long time ago, I gave up believing everything that somebody would send me. Nice cut. You still got it.
Thank you. I actually had an email, and I think I copied you guys on it, for a guy that wants to rent boats off a road, and I told him no, but I said he had to talk to the board and let you guys make that
Is
decision.
it you?
I'm listening to you, you did a good job, I came right down.
Oh, are you the guy?
Thanks for your help.
You're very welcome. So any questions?
No, but I'd like to make a statement about you and your Saturday activities. I want to say the response that we've gotten from people that met you at the compost thing has been most favorable.
Yeah, I love doing the compost. People bring me water, they bring me iced tea, they talk to me for a long time. I really enjoy it, I really do.
Well, apparently they enjoy having you there because
Thank you.
that's a benefit to us, so thanks.
I see, hang on, so that if you're loud, it'll probably come on the mic, Jason. You know, for the
Yeah.
tape, none of this happens
I'll
unless
move.
it's on the
No,
mic.
that's okay.
Bruce, could you define the word closed? Closed complaints.
Close,
Does closed mean you did nothing, or you did something, or they were
Close-
resolved?
close
according to-
means that I resolved it,
Resolved it according to?
according to the ordinances, to make both parties happy. That's what close means.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you, sir. That moves us to Parks and Rec. The Clean Boats, Clean Water presentation is Saturday. The second one at Samoset Park is a Saturday at 11. Then followed up at Phoenix Park at 12:15. That'll be Laura Piakowski doing the presentation. The one last Saturday, it was a pretty good little crowd there. Get a lot of stuff on Facebook pages appreciating the fact that Lyon Township and the Parks and Rec Committee are doing this kind of stuff to try and look out for the quality of the water and the invasive species. Other than that, I already went over it in the positives. I think a lot of good things are happening there. We'll figure out what went wrong with the swing. I was notified that we have a big grant application in with the DNR for Park 27 walking trail with exercise stations, play stations for young adults or younger. They, again, asked for the board's approval. If you remember, we approved that grant application with a 50% match. They asked again for confirmation of that. That's a real good sign. I'm very hopeful that that's going to come through here. I know they do their ratings midsummer, should come out by tail end of summer. The fact that they came and visited with us once, and the same people are now reaffirming that we're behind this, those are all good signs. Very hopeful. Any questions for me about Parks and Rec as best as I could answer them?
How's the fish installation coming?
I have we went back and forth with maintenance crew thinking about doing it, and then it's a big project, and they rightfully said, I don't know about this. I talked with a contractor 2 days ago and came up with a plan. It has to be, it is too big for sticking a pole in the ground, throwing cement on it. So the plan would be that we bury something that has cement, and also then on top of that is a plate system that they use for flagpoles. So my concern was, how do you know it's going to be straight? How do you get it in there? And then if you got hydraulic equipment trying to hold it, will it stay? Talk to the right guy. They make a plate for doing this on a flagpole with nuts on the bottom and the top, adjustable. So once you get it in there as straight as you can, and you then he could weld a plate on the bottom of ours. We have to cut off about 3 feet, weld the plate on, and then it bolts to it, and then you can adjust them to make sure that they're in the final position, and then bury it all. So next week, I'm going to do a mock-up with the armature part that the fish hangs off of. Put the forks on the tractor we have, take it out there, hang it in the air at the approximate distance, then measure from the bottom of that angle armature to surface. And that will be the determined distance for what we have to cut off. So instead of burying a bunch of it, it'll be a big concrete pad thing, and we'll bolt it right to it. So we have 3 feet or more that'll be excess. And that's where the plan is. Finally, you're right, finally. Any other questions for me? Okay. So sure.
I recently read that Granholm approved or got approval for FEMA funds for storm damage from April, and yet I didn't hear anything about that. Are we still working to get money from FEMA, or is that just gone by the wayside?
No, Pam, my deputy Pam, has been, she's integral in the Bluegill Festival, so she's been gone all last weekend up till today. When she comes back tomorrow, we have the documentation for what we spent township-wide for the ice storm. The problem is, and I've said this before, probably should repeat it more often, the floods that came after the ice storm took precedent over everything. But we will follow through and submit that documentation. When Pam comes back, I'll have her chase that down, because the money was released by FEMA. Me personally, so much, if you looked at that map when they talked about the counties, it's all up in that flood area, Charlevoix and south, and then some in Roscommon County. What we're going to get for branch removal and what we had to do during that ice storm, I don't know. I've been told it'll be a year, before we see anything, but yes, they're going to pursue it. I don't have high hopes. They'll come up with a pot of money, and the biggest problems they're going to get it. Okay. So moving along, that brings us to the consent agenda. And for today's meeting, that includes check register from 6/19/26 to 7/16/26. The invoice register from 6/19/26 to 7/16/26. And the board and department reports, all to be filed with the clerk's office. So I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as stated. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none. On the consent agenda as stated, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed, the same. That motion carries 4-0. Okay, that brings us into the board comments. Other than the positives, I only have one other thing. We had some confusion. It appeared that a piece of property down by the AMVets may definitely be township property given to us by the road commission. Some checks were made with our assessor to see if anybody pays taxes on it. Then things got a little confusing. So at the last meeting, I said, that looks good. We'll start maybe taking care of it a little bit. Now that's kind of on hold until I get a better answer from the assessor. It's a triangular shaped piece of property. And Sam, I was going to ask you this. Because I said that at a meeting that we're going to start taking care of it. We started talking about it, talked to maintenance. Then somebody called me and said, what's going on down there? And I said, nothing yet that I know of. Said somebody took like a brush hog in there and knocked a bunch of the grass down. I said, it's not us yet, but it wouldn't be the first time a resident went and did something.
That's what we theorize, we don't know ourselves.
Okay. All right, good enough then. So it's still in flux.
They did a nice job.
Yeah, they did.
The property does belong to the township, though. We confirmed that today with the assessor. So it's.
Oh, she told Bruce I had to do something, call somebody else.
Well, because you didn't approach her the right way is my guess.
I
But
never said a word to her. He asked her.
well, that was part of the problem. But anyways,
Okay.
it's our property. She confirmed it, so I've talked to the road commission already because there's a makeshift road that goes through the middle of it, and they said, the road commission told me that that is not a road. So if we wanted to block that off and cut down some trees or pour sand or do whatever we want, we absolutely have the right to do it, so.
Okay, because Sam just gave me the agreement from the county too, so I'll make copies.
Yeah, it's
All right,
definitely
that
our
sounds
property.
promising. Sounds real promising.
It's definitely the township property.
Was that the tractor you were talking about, Steve?
It was a little red tractor, yes.
Oh.
I saw him doing it. I
Okay.
thought it was a township person.
Well,
They did a nice job.
yeah,
Looks
they
good.
cleaned it up quite a bit. Okay, that's all I
Jason,
got.
did you want to say something? I'd seen your hand up.
Yeah, just a comment. By state law, you're not allowed to disturb land near a lake or a body of water. I believe the setback is about 500 feet, or maybe more than that, without a permit. So caution.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We're gonna go through the legal aspect of it for sure.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
heard you say you're gonna cut down trees and jump.
No, I said we could do that.
No, the only thing that initially would happen would be cut grass. That's,
That's fine.
yeah. If bringing sand in, we gotta ask the DNR. I already been there
Yep.
once on this piece of property.
Yeah, it's a hassle, but yeah.
Well, and maybe we don't need to, I don't know, we'll see. But if it's ours, that's good.
It's not a big piece of property by any means, but
How do we not pay taxes on it if it was ours? How do we not know that?
if nobody pays taxes on it, it's the townships.
Okay, so board comments from any other board members?
It's like Samoset Park. Nobody pays taxes on it
Because that's a park,
because it's a township property.
township doesn't have to pay taxes on that.
Nope.
Okay, any other comments from the board members? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the meeting agenda. I certainly have modifications because Mr. Monet is not here. So let me run through a couple of them that I'm going to suggest we scrap because they were intended to have all the board members here at one time. The discussion on Steve Reedy remaining on the Parks and Recreation Committee, I would strike, or I'm suggesting that that be struck.
What?
That was number one.
Before we strike that, I don't know why we need 5 people to discuss that, but the guy says he wants to be on the committee. Let him be on the committee. I mean,
Well, I'm going to make a motion. If you want me to, I can. I'm suggesting we strike it until all 5 of us are here because of the problems I already stated in my supervisor report, but, and he's not here either, again.
well,
Anyway, well, go ahead.
he hasn't resigned that I know of, so apparently he wants to be on the committee.
And I'm going to make a motion that we thank him for his service and that he may no longer be needed on that committee and this board can vote. I'd rather have all 5 people here.
In that
Well-
case, I think maybe you better strike it if you wanted to have 5 people vote on.
So we're gonna, okay, I'm confused. So we're gonna vote to get rid of a guy who wants to be on a committee?
No, I'm going to bring it to the board and the board can decide whether he remains or not.
Apparently the guy wants to remain.
I'm going to bring that, my motion will state that we thank him for his service. He may want to remain. We can decide whether he does or he doesn't. That's how it works.
Okay.
Well, let's do it right now.
I put it on the agenda. I'm going to strike it because I did. Now, if you want it to remain,
I want it to remain.
okay, good enough. So we'll leave number 1 on there. Number 2 stays. Number 3, good Lord, strike that.
So you want to strike 3, 4, and 5 because they all
Yeah,
say full board
it
on
was
it?
all about trying to get everybody in the room at one time.
Okay, then also number 8?
And
3, 4, 5, let me look down through here.
And 9?
Not 6, let me get through my list here. 7, he's not here. That was the whole point about the swimmer's itch. 8
So you're
and
saying strike
9.
eight.
Sorry?
You're saying strike 8?
Yeah.
Yep. And strike 9.
Might as well strike 11, because he's not here.
Yep. That leaves a handbook, short-term, strike 12 too.
Okay.
I move to close the agenda and go to comments.
We almost could. My purpose in this is to try and get to where we're all in the same room and we make decisions on things for the reasons I stated. I'm not going to belabor it anymore.
I think if something's been brought up a couple of times at different meetings and no one will second it, that you should take that as a no vote and just go on with our lives.
If that continues
Second.
to happen, I'm just going to keep listing them in my supervisor reports as things that I tried to accomplish but didn't get the support. And that's fine. But kicking them out there in limbo with somebody missing or no motions at all.
If nobody seconds the motion and you got enough people to pass the motion and nobody seconds it, that means you got at least 3 no votes and it's not going anywhere. So just scratch it off of there and leave it alone.
I appreciate your comment, but that's probably not what I'm going to do.
Imagine that.
Yep. What I believe for the best interests of the township moving forward might not be what other people agree. And that's at the point that I don't want to get into it. At the point there's a decision made, that's fine. So going back to the agenda and what we ended up striking, excuse me, double check me on this, Clerk Pern, but that means we still have number 2 on the agenda.
We still have number 1.
Still have number
Not
one.
Oh, sorry,
striking.
number 1. So 1 and 2. And
6,
6.
10,
10, and any additions?
13.
Okay, so we have 4 left. Are there any additions other than those modifications that anybody would want to add?
Yes, number 13, I want to clear up a little language on the HLUA board. We have the nominations already, the people have been voted in, but I want to make sure because there was some kind of an unusual happening that someone didn't approve of the way things were done. So we're going to try to make it as official as we can, 13. So that just HLU items, and I'll explain at the time we get there.
Okay, I got that as 13. Is there anything else?
Public comment.
Well, that'll come in there.
Where's
What happened is I print that out, and then there's a second page that we sign. I pulled the second page and just printed the first, so.
It says public comment on the start of the second page, very small print. But it's there.
Okay, so for the consent, or for the agenda to include numbers 1, 2, 6, 10, and 13 as modified, I will make a motion that we approve that. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, let me get it in the right place here. Okay, is there any further discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye on the approval of the modified agenda.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same? Okay, that motion carries 4-0. So, first thing on the agenda, Steve is not here. I had some comments for him. I'm not going to disparage anybody. He did a good job when he was there. So I'll switch right to the motion and the board can decide in order to have a conversation if it even gets that far. I'll make a motion that the board thanks Steve for his services, but he will no longer be needed on the Parks and Rec board. Do I have a second for that motion, or for for discussion?
I'll second that for discussion.
Okay. Further discussion. Some people get used to public service. Some people get used to the Mother May I part of it. Some people get used to the protocol, and everybody is kind of at a different level in that. The motion, I'm making the motion as what it is. He's not here to say anything. I won't say any more than that. Anybody else got a comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say he was asked a couple times by different board members whether he wanted to resign from the Parks and Recreation Committee, and he was absolutely adamant that he was not in the hopes of resigning. And unless he's done something egregious or something terrible, I don't see the reason for this, but that's, I'm one person. And I said, if he didn't ask to get off, that's another story. But like I said, that's just one opinion.
Anybody else on the board?
I'm not willing to throw somebody off a committee they volunteered for. So that's just my opinion. I don't even know why this is on here, but it's your agenda, so we'll go through it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I agree with the two on the end. You know, he's a volunteer, he's there, he hasn't done nothing bad, leave him alone.
Okay. That'll suffice for today.
You know, I'll vote,
Well, I'm going to move it to a vote. Yeah.
we got a second. We
Got
had
a second
discussion.
already.
That's the protocol,
Yeah, and if I end the discussion,
and so then it comes to a vote. We've had a thing, we've had a second, we've had a discussion, and then we have a vote,
that's where I'm at.
okay? That's where you said we were gonna close it.
Maybe that didn't come out right. I'm ending the discussion.
Okay,
closing the
let's vote.
discussion part. So, can we have a roll call on that, please, Clerk Pern?
Sure. Treasurer Hobbs.
What is the roll
The
call?
motion is to thank him, and he would no longer be needed. So if you don't want to do that, vote no.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Supervisor Bertrand.
Yes.
Trustee Detmer.
No,
Clerk Pern, no.
Okay, that motion fails at 1, 2, 3. Okay, next. This is going to take a while. Glad we don't have any other things. So the next agenda item is a discussion and a motion on the pay process for the zoning administrator. This has got to do with Robert Moore, who is our zoning administrator. He was unable to come to the last meeting. He asked me to read his reply to the attorney. He is unable to come today too, and I told him I would, and it is lengthy. We have a few extra minutes. I'm going to blow through it as fast as I can, and then we can add some other things to it. Dear board members, this is my response to the proposal. Let me begin by giving you a little background. I'm an independent construction contractor more than 40 years. As anyone who has owned a business knows, long hours, multitasking is normal. You cannot succeed without drive and determination. It's the American work ethic that many of us grew up with. For me to work 15 hours a week as zoning admin is no problem, along with my other responsibilities. I've worked hard and put in long hours all my life and will continue to do so as long as I am able. I'm also a man of my word. If I say I will do something, you can count on it. If I say I work an average 15 hours a week, you can depend on it. My dad always instilled in me an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. I will not settle for anything less. Honest work, honest hours, honest pay. If Lyon Township wants to sell for less and only pay the minimum for minimum work, I am not your man. But if you want a civil servant who cares about the community enough to give 110%, that's me. Now let's address the pay issue. When I was hired as an employee of the zoning administration, I accepted salary based on cursory understanding of the requirements. No job description, no reporting of hours required, no guidance whatsoever. I then poured myself into the work and gave it my all to serve the community. Hit the ground running, worked many long hours as zoning administrator as well as building inspector. Right away, the ZA work became very demanding. I was walking properties, meeting with owners, writing reports, interacting with the Planning Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals. From then on, it's been nearly nonstop with daily phone calls, text messages, emails, site visits, office consults. Contractors want to know setbacks and height restrictions. Architects need to get site plans approved before completing their construction drawings. Residents inquire about all sorts of issues, from camping to pole barns on vacant lots to lakefront setbacks to placing a shed on their land. This is the essential work of a ZA and keeps the community moving in the right direction in compliance with the zoning ordinance. It's taken me 3 years to realize my salary is not commensurate with the work I do. This is why I brought up the issue last year and again now. Without delving any further into legal matters, I'd like to offer this simple solution. Increase my salary in keeping with my dedicated work as zoning admin. I would accept a new salary rate of $15,600 annually, which breaks down to $300 per week. I would remain employee, which would include deducting taxes from my paycheck, W-2 at the end of the year, just as is currently done. I did a survey of the salaries surrounding townships: Denton, $23,000, Markey, $15,000, Lake, $10,800, Lyon, $4,160, no mileage. There's some mileage associated. When adjusted for the different number of housing units, my salary should be at least $15,428 a year. I should point out one legal factor that helps us. MCL 125-1522 regulates the revenue township building and zoning ordinance in the following: enforcing agency collect fees established under this subsection. Legislative government shall use fees generated under this section for the operation of enforcement agency or construction of the appeals. It is my opinion that under this regulation, the revenue from the building department can rightfully be used to pay the salary of the zoning administrator. This results in minimal impact on the township general fund budget. I'm going to stop right there and say our attorney has already answered him that no, we do not have to pay him hourly. He was demanding that, flirting with back pay. No, it's a salary, and our attorney said rightfully so. He has dropped that concern. Here's a few other important facts. Has to do with employment. I was hired as salaried. Motion by Bednuri to Greer to Robert Amora zoning bi-monthly salary of $160. You may notice he's asking for quite an increase here. At the same meeting, the township entered a contract as building inspector, which is separate. Salaried employee, I have not been required to report hours worked. This initial salary was minimum number of hours. Over the past 3 years, I've drastically expanded job description. My work as zoning admin is mostly away from the township office, from my office or on the road, and available all week and into the evening hours and weekends. People rely on being able to contact me. Although I do have other responsibilities as building inspector, it's no problem to run up 15 hours for zoning admin each week. For example, when ZBA request is processed, I can easily spend 30 hours preparing documents. Many hours are spent writing reports of land use requests. Practice is essential. I wrote a lengthy report to confirm ordinance compliance for a garage addition on Samoset. The matter ended up with the Zoning Board of Appeals. I prepared many multiple documents. Please note other townships in the area have dual roles of building inspector and zoning admin. The question that must be answered is, what is the best way to serve Lyon Township? This community deserves more than someone who will just punch a clock and let the township scrape by with minimum service. The people need a full zoning administrator that truly cares about the people and who works diligently to meet the various complex needs they face as property owners. I believe that I am that man. So I fulfilled my obligation there. This started out with a demand for pay increase and hourly wage. Our attorney's gone back and forth with this. I have a proposal I'd like to make. If you guys have a comment on this first, maybe we should go that route and I'll make this proposal.
One of the things I'd like to comment on is he said at the beginning of his understanding with the previous board, there was no hours, no timesheet, no nothing like that. I would like him to submit a proof of hours timesheet if this was going to be instituted, if there's going to be some kind of a raise involved. He says 15 hours is no big deal for him to accrue, but we see him here generally 2 days a week for about 3 hours. I think maybe it's more than that. I don't get to see it much. I'm stuck in the hole in there. But nevertheless, if it's anywhere near 15 hours, it should be no problem for him to keep a sheet like the other people do. It's just my comment.
Anybody else? I know you've all had this and looked at the attorney's stuff. If nobody else, I do have the zoning administrator job description from 2021. Him saying he never got this, I don't know. But I'm going to go over a couple of things in relation that are on here in regards to salary. This is 2021. Salary shall be set by the Lyon Township Board. The salary is paid bi-monthly, $160.61. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that what we still currently pay them?
It's the best of my knowledge.
Okay.
Yes.
So, under hours of week, a while back, there was some, we publish yearly when the building inspector will be here, and that is from 10 to noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He and I had a discussion because that wasn't happening, and then that somewhat corrected itself. But that's building inspector. The zoning admin, according to this, should have at least 4 hours per week of office hours, up to 9 hours per week. If the 4 hours as building inspector are counting as the zoning admin, okay. But here's where I landed on this. When you go through the typical duties down at on this sheet anyway, that was from 2021, prepare monthly written report and an annual report. Submit the report to the township board and the township clerk 7 days prior to the regular board meeting. When we took office, he used to do that. I haven't seen one in a year. 13, use acceptable township accounting standards to prepare pay period timesheets. Is he turning in a timesheet?
Not to me.
Okay. 14 is maintain a receipt book for all monies collected on behalf of the township and remit to the treasurer. Are you seeing any of that? Okay. Submit invoices and expense vouchers to the township clerk following the policies and procedures established by the township board. I'm going to guess you get vouchered, maybe not.
Well, he does turn in a couple of things, but usually they're business associated. They're not hours and nothing like that. They're expenses that he has come up with there that apparently are legit, and they've been going on for a while. So I don't have an issue with that, so to speak. But the amount of money we're talking about as an increase is a whole different deal.
Absolutely. So my deputy Pam went over some of that stuff, and she had some suggestions before I found this that were actually pretty similar on the attorney. Yes, we could do it this way. I'm going to make a proposal. I think that Robert is deserving of a 3% cost of living raise for every year that he has been employed here. That would be number one. Let me make sure I'm doing this the right way.
So how many percent would that be?
Well, 3% for each year. I think he's been here 2 years, maybe a little bit more. But I'm going to try and do it in two motions to separate these things. That would be one thing. The other is that Robert needs to document his hours and his work done starting in the next pay period here and submit them as a report at the monthly township board meetings like we should have been getting to be viewed in 6 months for a potential pay adjustment. Personally, I do not see doing a pay adjustment when we have no proof of what he's doing. But if he keeps proof of what he's doing and that's justification for it, then certainly we could revisit it. But certainly, to me, the cost of living, you don't want people to go backwards. So for the sake of discussion, I'm going to make two motions one at a time and see what you guys think about this.
So before you do that, you want us to go back however long he's been here and pay him 3%?
Just for the amount of time from when he was hired, each year that he worked, would, I think, a 3% increase in cost of living, this is what I'm suggesting, I think is appropriate.
So 6% altogether.
Well, it'd be 3 on that first year, and then 3 on whatever the outcome of that is on the next. Let me make the motion, we can keep talking about it. I'll make the motion that starting the next pay cycle, add a 3% increase for each full calendar year Robert Moore has worked as zoning admin. So do we have a second on that?
Yeah, I'd like to have some more discussion.
Sure.
I'll second.
And these are only, I'm putting something out there because we need to go somewhere with this. So second by Pern. Any further discussion on?
Yeah, now, are we sure how long he's been the zoning administrator?
I'm sure on the date, no, 24, late 23 up to mid 24 for sure, because he was hired here before we ever
Yes, before
got
we got
close
here,
to coming in the office.
Right.
Well, I will just say this, he signed a contract with us at a certain amount of money, and that's what he is getting paid. Now, if you want to do this hourly, weekly thing besides his building job, that's fine. I have no problem discussing that, but to give him 3% going back another couple of years, absolutely not. He signed a contract with us at that day, and we honor that contract. It had nothing about cost of living in there at all. So, I mean, I'm not in favor of that at all.
Okay, and then just to be clear, him tracking his hours does not mean we would pay him hourly.
Correct.
We're saying prove,
Right, if for his, other than his zoning, or doing his zoning, he says he works 15 hours, that's fine. Turn in a timesheet like everybody else does.
I know he signed a contract for building inspector. Do you know for sure he signed a contract for zoning administrator? I don't think there is one for that.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, me neither.
yeah, after some cursory looking around, I have not seen one. And there's not anything in the shared drive. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
So if he wants to draw one up going forward, we can draw one up.
Well, certainly, all comments, I'm gonna, like I said, I'll run motions, they pass or they fail, and then we have to get back with him, so.
What's his base salary right now per year?
Per year, I don't know, but it's, what is it, 160, we just went over it here a minute ago.
160 times 52?
160 bi-monthly, so 320, somewhere around there, 320. And I think he was asking to be put up over $500. But that, the initial request was hourly, that's not happening. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not in favor of that.
So 320 times 12. It's 3840.
I kind of like the part of going over the zoning
3840.
administration job and make a contract for that.
You gotta remember, he's a contractor, he's not an employee.
Well, that's true.
Well,
So he's asking for 15K, that's like a 12,000 or $11,000 raise.
it's a considerable amount of money.
Yeah,
And
So
again,
what are we doing? What are we,
there's a motion on the floor to
Well, we're
give a
just
3%
discussing.
increase
okay,
as a cost of living, and the discussion is ongoing. If anybody's got anything to say, or any more to say, if not, we can vote on that motion. This is not end-all, be-all. You got to come up with something. I asked you guys what you thought. I didn't hear a whole lot. This is what I came up with. So is there any more discussion on the cost of living motion? Okay, hearing none. On the motion that starting in the next pay cycle, add 3% for each full calendar year Robert Amore has worked as zoning admin. Could we have a roll call, please, Clerk Kern?
Sure. Trustee Detmer,
yes,
Treasurer Hub,
no.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Clerk Fern, no.
Okay, that stalls at a 2-2. So let's do the second one here. And this has to do with him tracking his hours, which if you believe that this contract was in place when he was hired, should have been going on. It did for a while. I got reports. So for the sake of discussion further, I'll make a motion that Robert document all his hours and work done starting the next pay cycle and submit them as a report at the monthly township board meetings to be reviewed at the monthly township board meetings with reports to be reviewed in 6 months for potential pay adjustment. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second. There can be more discussion then.
Okay, we have a second, so additional discussion on that. Basically, track what you're doing, let us know in 6 months, and we can look at it as far as a serious pay raise or not.
I think that would be wise.
Okay. Anybody else on the discussion end of that? Okay, hearing none, I'll restate the motion. The motion is that Robert document all his hours and work done starting the next pay cycle and submit them as a report, at the monthly township board meetings with reports to be reviewed in 6 months for potential pay adjustments. Can we have a roll call on that, please, Clerk Kern?
Sure. Clerk Fern, yes. Trustee Detmer,
Yes,
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
Treasurer Hub,
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries 4-0, and I will let Robert know. Okay, let me get rid of this. So in my email, no, I don't know that that's true either. Number 6 on the agenda is to discuss and potentially approve a new Lyon Township EMS coordinator. I know I asked about a resume. I don't know if anybody got one. That's just me personally. I think when we do a hire, and then I don't know, is Tony here?
No.
Okay. My other question was, what's the pay situation? Was that available or?
I believe it's $200 a week.
Yeah, 800 a month for 3 to 6 month probation, and that goes to $950 a month. So 800 a month.
How does the 200 compare to the previous EMS coordinator, do you know?
About half.
Okay.
well, she had 2 jobs, remember? She had coordinator and administrator and then.
Yes,
turned
we're gonna roll it all into one
Yeah, we're
job.
making it one thing. It makes it easier on me too. just make it, the coordinator and, have one title, one pay.
So bottom line, we're gonna save money on having one person do,
Oh, I think so.
yes.
Short of a resume, can you tell me what his experience is in doing this?
He's a full-time EMT, I believe at Benton. And he's been on the department, I'm willing to say, a year and a half or two.
As coordinator for EMS at Benton?
No, as a paramedic, EMT, not sure what he's classified
Do you know if anybody asked him to do a resume?
as. Did not, no. I thought it was an appointment. Just to get your validation.
Well, it does, but it's easier to put it on the record books with a
He's
resume.
already on,
Department.
he's already on the department, I don't know. Are we need doing,
Yeah, he's on the payroll on a regular basis anyway.
To me, it's because EMS coordinator is a different job, but that's me.
Yeah. Well, we can certainly ask him, put it in a file, that's fine.
So entrusting, with you as the fire chief, how long is it probationary, interim, what's the start?
They said 3 to 6 months.
Interim or
But
probation?
Probationary, which I don't know the difference between probationary and interim.
I haven't figured that out either. Okay, those are my questions. I don't know if anybody else has got any. Okay, not hearing any. So with the additional clarity of a 3 to 6 months probationary period, I will restate the motion. And I don't have his last name on here.
Well, it's Wojtilko,
Okay,
and the J is not pronounced.
I'll say Tony W.
Yeah, Tony is much easier.
Okay. So with that additional clarity, I'll restate the motion that Tony W. be hired as the new Lyon Township EMS coordinator at a rate of $200 per
200 a week.
200 a week. Okay.
800 a month, because there's 2 pay periods, or after probation, it would go up to 950 per month.
Well, for now, it's just, if that's the starting wage on a probationary period, that's what I'll put in the motion.
That's good.
Okay, at 800 a month, 200 a week. Okay, so, can we have a roll call on that, please, Clerk Kerman?
Yeah, I gotta look where we started last time. 1 second, turn, okay. Treasurer House,
yes.
Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes.
and Clerk Pern, yes.
Okay, that motion carries 4-0. What's next?
Handbook.
That is number 10. Okay. So number 10 is feedback from the board on the new employee handbook changes. Pam and Courtney worked pretty hard on this for a couple of months. You all got it? You all got it emailed to you? I don't know what your concerns are. I have a couple, nothing major. I can start with mine if that's working for everybody here. So she gave it to everybody with things highlighted, which is fine. My first, because I'm kind of asking you guys if you saw this and maybe you know why. On page 5, under section 2 for employment classifications, maybe you saw this. Temporary and seasonal employees are hired to work on a project basis or for a specified period of time, such as maintenance, mowing, snow removal, etc. It used to say working at the recycle center, and that is lined out. Does anybody know anything about why that happened?
I'll be honest, I haven't read it yet, so I have no idea.
Okay. Well, okay, and it may be a big nothing. It seemed like we were handcuffing ourselves a little bit there. The other one was on page 10, health and safety. For the purpose of the handbook, illegal prohibited drugs are those drugs or substances that are illegal to sell or possess, including marijuana, whether prescribed for a medical condition or not. Including marijuana is lined out. And later on it says, under prescription drugs, to the extent permitted by the state or federal law, medical marijuana, which is marijuana acquired, possessed, externally or internally, cultivated, manufactured, used, delivered, transferred, to treat or alleviate a registered qualifying patient's debilitating medical condition or symptom associated with the debilitating medical condition. And that's lined out. Just one question, is this all being lined out, do you think, because now the law, it's not against the law? Anybody got a clue on that?
Well, not for sure, but medical marijuana, I know, is to a certain point at least legal.
Well, regular, I'm saying this might be so old that the reason they lined it out, I thought maybe Courtney might have been talking to you about it.
No, she did not.
Okay.
She and Pam were exclusive on this.
All right, that's the only two things I had, and it's not.
Well, that's not very many.
No, the rest of it I'm fine with, because the main point is I had to take care of the hours worked and the sick leave and annual leave
Yeah.
accruals that are
Well, there was a
demanded.
lot of things that needed to be changed.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But for sure, we had to get on board with the annual leave, sick leave stuff.
Okay. So we got more questions to ask them, but we're not passing anything yet. We're just talking about the changes.
No, that's
Okay.
all I found in there.
All right.
man. That brings us to number 13, the
Okay.
Higgins Lake Utility Authority Board.
Yes, all I want to do is add a little language. I know that we had replaced Marcia Wilson with Kevin Hops on the Hula Board effective July 1st, but it didn't explain apparently to someone's satisfaction the so-called chairman of the HLUA, which we'll get into in a minute. But Kevin has replaced Marcia Wilson, and Jackie Danielson has replaced Tamara Gage, and she resigned on the 27th of June. My other issue, that's just to tell them, the 50-50 term, according to the oath book, was up on June the 30th. So I don't know, we don't have another candidate, and Beaver Creek would have to agree on that candidate before we can install him, but that's the person that kept Kevin and Jackie from sitting on the board on the last meeting. The meeting was Monday?
Yeah, she could stay.
So, what was the date that expired for the 50-50?
June 30th.
June 30th. It's in the oath book.
Okay.
In fact, I did give most people copies. I thought I gave you all a copy. Do you have yours handy, Kevin?
I do not.
No. Do you have yours handy, Steve?
I think so.
It's the little small one. It's just a little piece of paper that was on the top. Yeah, there it is.
You need this?
Yeah, that's it. No, I don't need it,
Oh, okay.
but it shows you the date on there. So, there's nothing more to be said. we've named the two people, we named them both for July 1st.
It's on video.
Yeah, it's on the camera.
It's just playing games is what it is.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do, put it on record.
So now it's on record, we'll put it in the minutes, and we'll send it to them.
Yeah,
But we also have a problem with, we haven't appointed our 50/50, and it's expired, and they have to be sworn in according to their
Yeah.
articles of incorporation, not ours.
but how do we know that Beaver Creek is approving him?
We don't.
So we need somebody from their group as well as our group
Yeah.
to have him before he comes in to sign something. All right.
I do, it's coming back to me now how some of this went before. If we've already talked about this. I believe that legally, he holds that chair until replaced. If you remember back, we went through this where I believe we would have to suggest somebody. So we would have to have a candidate for that chair if his appointment expired. And then see if Beaver Creek agreed with us or not. Now, we went through this before. They threw somebody at us and we didn't. And I think we had somebody and that didn't fly and we ended up landing at Brian Cook. So,
Yeah, I'm sure you're right about the one thing, though. He's got that seat until somebody replaces him.
and there's no way to even do that without having somebody you're gonna say, we want this person.
Right.
I think, anyway.
Well, no, I think you're right. And I don't have a candidate, perhaps we can discuss.
According to their articles, they must be sworn in. If you're not sworn in, you're not legal. So that's a question for Beal I would like answered on.
I can certainly run it past him. So the issue is, his term has expired. If he doesn't swear in again,
We have not reappointed him.
okay, I can ask.
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
But I think in the end, we got to come up with somebody else.
I think maybe that'll be a priority item.
Sure, absolutely.
And then Beaver Creek has to agree.
Yeah. Another main issue on the thing was Tamara Gage sent me a notice to publish things, and on that particular thing, do you have yours handy, Steve? Where it said on the bottom that all meetings would be held at Beaver Creek, and that's not what we wanted. Yeah, pass that down to Paul, will you? I circled those things. I don't know what happened to your copy, Paul. I had one for you.
Good question. You want me to read what you circled? Is that what you're saying?
You can, well,
Here, you read it.
I have one right here. All meetings will be held at 4 o'clock at Beaver Creek Township Hall. She wanted me to publish this, and I would have done that, except she rescinded her position. She resigned on the 27th, so she's no longer the secretary as she has signed it here. And she's no longer that, but I think we have an issue there. It says all meetings, and since we have more, quite a bit more, in a way of people in Lyon than they do at Beaver Creek, I certainly think at least we should have half the meetings here. I don't know how the public feels, but I think they do. But I think some of the people from the camp would certainly, this is where most of these issues have started, that they're not being represented fairly, and maybe that's true, maybe it's not true. But like I said, like Supervisor said, yeah, we're gonna need a candidate for 50-50, and then Beaver Creek could have to agree before we can do anything, or he retains his position. I'm sure that's right, and I'm sure Beal is gonna agree with that. So we better get to work on that.
Well, Morris, coming back to me now, there may have been an extended time frame there before we were elected and took office. No, that's right.
Well-
There was nobody in that position for quite some
You got in
time
on 2020,
because Beaver and
2024.
Lyon could not agree.
Okay.
Beaver Creek's choice was Brian. We finally did agree to that. But there was quite a period of time where there was nobody in that position because they could not agree.
But not while we were on though.
No, but once we came in,
December of
remember-
2024, that's when he signed this.
right, if you remember the discussions about suddenly we owe the utility authority $80,000,
Yeah.
remember that stuff?
Yes.
It became in our best interest to make sure we had somebody in there that we at least knew.
Mm-hmm.
Time will tell how that worked out in the end.
Point of clarity for Mr. Kearns. The young lady was sworn in by Beaver Creek as secretary of the Higgins Lake Utility Authority. And she was sworn in.
She's what?
That's official.
You're gonna have to come up and use the mic, please,
I
if you
couldn't
could.
quite hear you, Sam.
Sam Bedoyan Jr. For the benefit of the community and the township board, she was sworn in by Beaver Creek. She is the secretary of the Higgins Lake Utility Authority. Quote.
Who is?
The lady you just talked about.
Tamara
The
Gage?
letter. The
No,
letter you
she's
received.
a Lyon Township representative.
I'm sorry, who?
Tamara Gage.
She's
And
a lot,
And she's the one that signed as HLUA secretary.
She is.
She resigned last month.
You don't understand. She resigned. You made that official. You stated that. That's official.
Yeah.
Beaver Creek. Now, you guys need to check with Beaver Creek. You've not done your due diligence.
See, and there's
They
some-
swore, excuse me, I'm just trying to help you. You guys are just keep throwing the ball back and forth. All you gotta do is get a hold of the township supervisor for Beaver Creek, and she'll clear it up that she was sworn in, okay, and she is treasurer of the Higgins Lake Utility Authority.
When
That's all
you
you
said
gotta do.
secretary, you meant secretary?
Secretary, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, secretary.
Okay.
Yes, that's a quote. So just.
But how can she be a secretary of his
I'm
organization? I'm
asking-
asking you a question. How
I'm,
can she be secretary of an organization when she's not even a representative of
I
Lyon Township?
cannot answer that. I can only
Oh.
answer the fact that Beaver Creek hired her, swore her in. That's all I'm trying to tell you, Craig. So you need to get a hold of them, face to face, and you'll get it cleared up one way or the other.
I think it's cleared up in my mind, Sam.
Well, all right.
Okay.
That's fine.
But I'll do it. I'll do it.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sam.
Any other discussion from the board in regards to the Higgins Lake Utility Authority? I personally like the idea of having some of the meetings here. Yeah,
They should all be here technically, or it's 90% the residents are in Lyon Township.
you know, I heard all of this.
10% are in Beaver Creek. Why would they would be all there is beyond me, but
Not to say that that doesn't make sense, because I had these conversations with Brian before, and part of the answer included in the answer was that the treatment facility is in Beaver Creek Township. Now, I don't know how the powers that be arrived at that before, but it had something to do with it.
well, and guess who pays all the bills? Lyon. So, that doesn't fly.
I appreciate the fact that you're diving into this. I'll see if I can get some legal advice to
Yeah.
go with you.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely talk to Beaver Creek, but I don't see the point, but I will.
Okay, anything else from the board on that? If not,
You're up to announcements.
just up to announcements, a couple of it. Again, reminding everyone that the Clean Boats, Clean Water grant presentation, the money that we got from MSU for the materials and the presentation is Saturday at Samoset at 11, and following then at 12:15 at Phoenix Park. And Laura Piakowski will be putting those on.
I have a clarification. Somebody asked me, he says, I missed the one at Phoenix Park last week. I said, there wasn't one at Phoenix Park last week. It was only Samoset, but this week it's included. That's what I told them.
Yes, it's been out there on Facebook. I put it in the newspaper.
Mhm.
There's only so much you can do. Hopefully it gets a lot of likes. I mean, who's against trying to prevent invasive species. And the other thing being that I did say at the last meeting, and this is going to come up again, possible moratoriums on data centers township-wide and the storage unit businesses in certain areas, and the rationale is that moratoriums give the township board more time to think and plan as to what direction they might want to go. But it is at least taking a step. Any other announcements from the board members?
I'll just say, don't get overexcited when you see a bunch of piles of, I'll call it gravel over at Park 27.
Or trucks.
Yeah, they started dumping for the 127 road project, so.
Is it all inside the compost area?
No, it's outside.
Oh, it's all
So I
outside.
can pull up and shovel some in the back of my truck for my driveway?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll be on camera, but nevertheless, that's good.
We dropped some off down by my
Yeah.
house.
Maybe I'll do a loop. Okay, so that brings us to public comment. So if you've got something you'd like to say, you got 5 minutes, and raise your hand and you can come up. How about you? I saw you first.
Thank you. My name is Jim Fields. I live at 8602 West Higgins Lake Drive, which is just right up the road here. Right north of us is Harrods Lane, and right north of that is the West Boat Launch, which they have a fence that goes down between it. Nothing wrong with Harrods Lane. What I do have a problem with, though, is a company named Go Fast Rentals that uses Harrods Lane as part of their business area and uses my property for the other part of their business area when pontoons, boats setting over on my property, hitting my dock, hitting my seawall. And this has been going on for several years since I bought it from my father-in-law 5 years ago. And he let it get started. Once you got something get started, there you go. So it came to a head the other day, actually over 4th of July. I had to go down, and I feel like an ogre yelling at these young guys and people and women that he has working for him, et cetera, to get their boats off of my property, quit hitting my stuff. And then I thought, well, you know what? You're using my property, and I'm paying all this tax money on my beautiful property to look out at this lake, which this is a beautiful area. You guys got to appreciate it. Maybe I should just go into boat rental business too and give him some competition. If he's allowed to do that, at least I could use my property and stage a couple boats on them and rent them out, which I addressed Bruce on. And he was good enough to answer my emails and said, no, you can put a kayak in there, but you can't run a business on the end of the road end. And I guess that's what I thought. So my next step was ask you guys, how do I stop this? It's went to a point, it's beyond control as far as I'm concerned on my end. I've had to call the police because he wouldn't move his boats. And the police had to make him move his boats away. Why he isn't using the boat launch, and they got all that area to the north of the boat launch to stage his boats is beyond me. But bring the boats in, take them off, stage them over there for the people he's running them out to. But no, he brings them off Harrods Lane and stages them on my property, which of course I get upset about. And I need some help. It's either that or I have to go to the next step up and do something about it.
What, do you have the police reports?
I could probably get one.
If you can get them, give them to our ordinance officer.
That was a year ago, I think, or two, something like that.
Well, that's a little different. So it wasn't this 4th of July?
No, Jimbo went down and got excited with everybody, and then I had to go back down and apologize to those young guys for going crazy on them for having their boats over on my property.
Well, everything starts with a written complaint because that's how we do business.
Okay,
and
so
he's your guy. Certainly take pictures yourself.
Oh, we've got all kinds of pictures and videos.
And, starting from the point you write the complaint, you'd have to have something current.
Yeah. These are
So
current.
yeah, if you have pictures and police reports that are current to the situation, then that gives us a lot more clout to do.
Is there a
something.
form I need to fill out?
Yes, there's a form in the office.
I'll come down, pick one up tomorrow then.
Well, being the nice guy he is, he could probably go get you one right now.
I was just gonna suggest, is the door open? I was gonna ask if the door's open.
Well, if it's
The door
not,
is
like I
open.
said, I only live a half mile down the road. I'll come
No,
back.
he
and
can
get
grab one for you, but that's where it all starts, because if we don't document things, we get
No, I-
lost.
And I certainly agree with your standpoint about paying the taxes, and you should have a view not of somebody else's boats, and certainly not access near a public area like that.
No.
I just happen to be lucky enough to get on, be on the lake myself, and I had to go out the other day because some people came in, and they were parked very close to my neighbor's dock, which is a long one, it's about 300 feet, and my water trampoline and some other things like that, and I says, listen, are you familiar with the riparian rights? Do you have any idea? And they says, reptilian rights. I said, no,
You know, but
listen, you have the right to be on the water anywhere you want, in your boat.
Yeah.
But if you step on the land and it's near some of my stuff, you're in violation.
I don't, 4th of July,
Yeah,
I let that go out the window except for Go Fast.
yeah.
People want to park out there and get out. Have a good time. This is a beautiful lake. See people on the road coming in from other states.
Absolutely.
Good time.
Have you talked to Jeremy?
Okay.
Huh?
Have you talked
Time
to
is
Jeremy
up, eh?
McKee?
Okay.
I've talked to his employees. I've never met him.
You should talk to him.
I don't know how to talk to him.
Well, ask the employees how to get in touch with him. He's usually a pretty reasonable guy. That might solve your issue.
I kind of doubt it after so many years of,
Well-
at least 5 years for me.
I can help with that possibly. If you do a complaint with him, and you let me know, I know how to get a hold of Jeremy, and
Okay.
maybe something can be done that way.
Okay.
All right, thanks,
it.
sir.
Try to help.
Okay, who else would like to make a public comment tonight? Come right on up.
Just turned it off.
Karen Trouts. I just wanted to make a comment here about the Robert Amor. We had a lot of discussion there about that as a contractor, and you want him to report his hours, and you don't want to give him a raise. But I've never heard of another contractor that you guys have hired that is required to put in reports to the board to be included in the monthly board meeting. You've never had another contractor do that. And you hire contractors for a lot of things here as a way to get around not having to hire them as employees. I don't understand.
He is technically an employee as a zoning administrator. So he contracts with us, but he, according to our attorney anyway, he does qualify in the employee range of that.
Well, then you as a board should have given him the 3% when you gave all of you guys the 3%.
That's a real good point.
I don't understand why it's such a big deal about it. And you're talking like the contract or his tracking his hours, but you say he's got a building inspector job that's separate from his zoning administration job. But when you made the motion, that wasn't made clear. It was like you're talking about one person and not the job. So I don't know if he's supposed to be reporting his hours for building inspection and zoning and all of that gets reported here. It's just sounds like it's a big kerfuffle, and I don't really understand what the issue is. I mean, a building inspector is important, a zoning administrator is important, and I think you need to take care of somebody that's been doing that for us for a few years, because I don't think you could ever replace somebody for, less than $4,000 a year. I think that's crazy. I think it's super duper cheap, and I think the man probably deserves a raise. So, my points.
All right, thank you. Other comments today? Come on up, Steve.
Quick correction, I texted Tony. Tony's been on the fire department since 2021, so about 5 years as EMS. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, he'll put something together. All I gotta do is ask his boss.
Okay, other public comments? Come on up, Liam.
Leanne Wisnowski. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the appointment of Tony Vitalco. And I feel like it should have been disclosed to the public that this is the deputy clerk's fiance. So there's more, the friends and family continues. This board ran on transparency, and I've seen none of that. Also, I was just looking at the EMS fire report. There was one EMS call this month. So we, as the public, our taxpayer money is you're gonna pay $800 for one EMS call. He's the EMS director, so he's gonna write the report or do whatever on one EMS call. Seems kind of crazy to me. But I think the public should know what you guys are paying for.
I can answer a little bit of that. When the previous EMS coordinator, we were checking into that. There's a lot of work. In fact, Christie filled me in on a lot of this. There's a lot of work in the background that they do too with stocking and restocking.
But we don't even know if he's qualified because no one has seen a resume.
I'm just saying that there's more than just the calls.
Okay, I'm sure. It would be good if you guys knew what the standards were for hiring and to see a resume before you guys bring this to the public and talk about it. It's unprofessional.
Okay, thank you, Leanne. Any other comments today? Come right on up, sir.
Bill Cleves, Lyon Township. We have a electoral process going on in our township right now, and the name calling is really starting to piss me off. And you started it. But your cronies, or I'll call them your special interest group, are very, very vindictive. Very, very bad. Some of them better watch it because they don't have skeletons in their closet. They got a pull barn full. I'm not going to play tit for tat, back and forth, but I think you ought to stop it. It's not very professional, and it's unethical. And have you read the Employees Handbook on Ethics or the MTA's Handbook on Ethics? You might want to look it up. That, and I don't know if the people of the township know it, but we had 2 calls Monday night. One was a carbon monoxide detector call after 12 o'clock. Nobody from Lyon Township showed up. Garish covered it. Then we had a fire alarm call at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody from Lyon showed up. Lake Township covered it. We're paying taxes for that stuff. Thanks.
Thanks, sir. Any other comments from the public? Come on up, Jason.
Thank you. Jason Trouts, Lyon Township. I've known Robert Amor for quite a long time, and I think he does an excellent job. In fact, I would probably rank him among the best employees that we have. I've sent him emails on Sundays, and he's actually replied, and that's pretty impressive. He's also always returns my phone calls or my texts, and he always gives me concrete information in terms of building codes, and that's important. And I like that because it actually is impressive, because some phone calls that I place to board members go unanswered. Almost all my emails go unanswered. So I don't understand, why are we trying to take a person, by my calculations, if he is working 15 hours a week, and that's questionable. I think that's obvious from the discussion, but we're paying him about $5.33 an hour. That's a pretty low wage. And how are you going to get a certified building inspector, somebody who's certified by the state of Michigan, to come in and do that type of work? I think it's going to be very challenging. I don't know why you're trying to drive them out of the office, but I've seen that similar behavior with other individuals. I don't know what the politics are for a lot of the people that you've driven out of their positions, but it's concerning. I do want to end with another item, changing the items. I think that's the best fire report I've ever seen. Thank you very much. It's really detailed. I know every month it may not be that detailed, but it's an awful good start, and I'm impressed with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. You and I communicate back and forth occasionally. Let me know if you're not getting answers.
Okay.
That concerns me. Yeah, let me know. Any other comments from the public? Come on up, sir. State your name and where you're from.
Tim McCarthy, 245 Samoset. I'd like to concur with what these two people said about Robert Moore. I've dealt with him. He's professional. He's honest. He gets back with you. He works. I know another individual, friend of mine, same thing. Robert Moore went over and above anything we asked, and it does appear from what I heard tonight that for some reason he is trying to be pushed out. $15,000 a year is nothing. I agree that the fire report was great, and I think it's good that you're able to take a fire chief's recommendation. But you, sir, you claim you worked for the state of Michigan for 30 years. I guarantee you, any job that you moved up through that state, you had to turn in a resume, even though you were already there. It's wrong to not know somebody's qualifications. You're willing to pay that much money for somebody, but you're not willing to pay Robert anything.
I think you guys are conflating two different topics with Robert. First of all, he is a building contractor that signed a contract with us, a building administrator. That's one of his jobs.
Building inspector.
Building inspector. And then I think we pay him, I don't know, I'm not on payroll, but it's
90% of his fee?
so he
95.
makes very good money on that. Very good money. The zoning is a different
Yeah,
aspect of his job. So this is all kind of just came to light now. I have no problem paying the guy $20 an hour, whatever the wage is, as long as he turns in a timesheet like every other employee does. I have no issue with that. But you just can't say I work 15 hours, pay me $20 an hour. Not happening.
Not arguing with that.
No.
Not at all.
But see, that's what I think. We're mixing up two different
Apples and oranges.
two different things, that's all. He's paid very well as a building inspector, very well. And he's not complaining about that. He signed a 3-year contract with us. We fulfill that. It's the zoning aspect which, hey, if he's working extra, no problem. Pay the guy.
What I would say is you guys are doing a very effective job of trying to push out somebody who's probably one of your best employees. I would agree with that.
I'm not trying to push the guy out. I don't know.
Nor am I. I think he's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why anybody thinks we're trying to push him out.
Not at all.
Anything more?
Not right now.
Okay. Thanks for your comments. Anybody else got public comments tonight? Sam Bedoyan Jr., step right up.
Thank you, Sam Bedoyan Jr. The public needs to know a couple things, and this is my opinion. When this board has a motion and a second and discussion, and you've all had a chance to discuss, any one of you can just say, call for a vote, and then move things along, just so you'll know that. Another thing, with the current climate the way it is, with the recall petition going on and so forth, if Paul was just, for instance, as an example, was to resign his position for whatever reason, then it would be up to this board to interview and then vote, and that person would fill the term until 28. Now, public needs to be aware of some options you have in this current recall. And I, for one, have made a poor decision on my part. And I got to pay for that. But I have an option. I did sign the petition against Paul. But you know what? Some of those reasons I'm not buying. And one of them is when we all worked together in 24 and campaigned together that whole year. The one subject I brought up all the time, you guys are not running for the money, right? Nope, not for the money. Now it's brought up that there's a line item in the budget for raises. Fine. That could be for the next administration, maybe. I would find it very difficult that this board here, including Timothy, would want to raise. They did not vote to give themselves a raise. There is a line item in the budget for that, if they choose to do so. But just for clarity's sake, you guys did not vote yourselves for a raise. Am I correct?
Yes.
It never was brought up, Sam.
Thank you. Keep that in mind. Now, the other thing. We fought for 4 years against the sewer. And for those of you who have any idea what went on, to save an assessment of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for the people in the sewer district, that's what would have happened if we lost. We fought for 4 full years, so that would not happen to the citizens in that district. It took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a fair amount of money out of our own pockets. And we had a lot of roadblocks with the previous township's board that created the Garrish Line Utility Authority. That was the Lyon Township at the time and the Garrish Township at the time. And we had to catch up and fight them for all these years. Now, if I had known this before, the articles in the paper about the recall. And yes, Terry Cleaves has stated that she intends to run for supervisor against Bertrand. That is her prerogative, as it is anyone else that wants to run. If the recall gets the number of votes and the county clerk so ordains it, then it's on the ballot. Anybody who wants to run has options only to run as an independent or as a Democrat. Paul's a Republican, he's the only one that can appear on the ballot. Anybody who wants to run as a Democrat, for instance, just so you'll know, because it's a recall, not a regular election. You have to go to that party, Roscommon Party, quote, to get their approval for your name to be on the ballot, just so you'll know that option. And also, so those that, like myself, now how do I undo what I did? I know now I can have my signature crossed out by having the person that witnessed my signature bring it to my home, and I'll have somebody with me as a witness to verify it can be crossed out. I've just changed my mind. You all just need to know your options. There's some things been said out there, but now this has not been said before, but this is right from the county clerk's office, because I made an error. Paul has a platform. Terry Cleaves has a platform. Anybody running for office has a platform. But maybe we don't like those platforms. You just need to know your options. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from the public? Come on up.
Mary Jane Dolan, Lyon Township resident. I was wondering how the survey results are coming along, if they've been received, any survey input has been received on the short-term rentals, the back of the tax bill, and who's tabulating it.
I don't know that anything's been tabulated yet.
No.
Kind of open and
They're just
for a
all going
discussion.
into when they come in, they go into a box. And nobody's looking at anything until September 15th.
And do we intend to use those results before? I'm surprised by number 12, I guess, on the agenda.
I intend to make them public, for sure.
But are we going to use that information as input before making a decision on something, a motion related to item 12 on the agenda?
If Mr. Hops wants to answer, that's fine. You know, this is public comment time. I will say that I put that on the agenda because I wanted it there to find out what would happen. But this, it's not question and answer. If he wants to answer, that's fine.
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. What was your question again?
My question is whether or not the results of the survey are going to be an input into a motion.
I would think they would have some bearing, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't expect really to see a motion until after September 15th then? That the board would consider voting on?
Well, this is just me, my opinion. There won't be an ordinance that begins until January 1st. So between now and the end of the year is when everything gets hashed out, and then an ordinance will be in place, I would think, my opinion, by January 1st, starting next year. The rest of the board may disagree, I don't know, but that's where I think we're at.
So really my question was, to be more clear, do you expect to entertain a motion before September 15th?
No.
Okay.
I would say probably October or end of September. That's, again, me.
And then my third question is, several times it's been stated that there are 16 differences between the township's draft STR ordinance and the one put forth by the Planning Commission. Is there a list, a description of what those 16 differences are?
Yes.
And is that posted somewhere?
No.
Is it going to be posted or shared? Or is it just pick one or the other and figure it out yourself?
Not going to answer that now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else want to come up and say what they'd like to be on the recording for? Mr. Denbauer, you going to sneak something in here?
No, sir.
I see you hiding back there. All right, hearing none, we will end the public comment, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting and
I'll
thank
make the
everybody
motion.
for coming. Did you make the motion?
Second.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, I'll second it. Any discussion further from the board on adjourning? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the
8:59.
same. Okay, meeting is adjourned.
2 hours.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And we got rid of half of
And we got half of the stuff, yeah?
this board.
Turn your mics off. Let me guess, you went somewhere more fun. Yeah, swing by tomorrow.